Welcome to the Men's Lifeline Academy. I'm your host. My name is Zach Goodman, and today I have a special guest. I got a young guy who's investing, taking accountability for his life because he doesn't want to work the rest of his life. He wants to take time to enjoy it, to have that wealth, that life where, man, I can just breathe easily and be financial free. Today, we got Elijah in the house. Elijah, welcome to the podcast, man, where we help to inspire men to take accountability for their life and to help them inspire. So, love to hear about your financial journey, man, because that's what your X is all about. Getting that Roth, getting that brokerage, and having fun while you're learning all about the funness of life and becoming financial literate.
Nice. Thanks for having me on today. Really appreciate it. It's my very first podcast, so I'm pretty stoked on where this will go.
Yeah, and don't worry, man. We got plenty of people who've never had a podcast before. They all excel at it, and I know you're going to rock it out. So, Elijah, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
All right. So I'm originally from Tennessee, Memphis in particular. Kind of migrated around a lot when I was little. So like North Carolina, South Carolina, back to Tennessee, and then Colorado finally. And where we settled down in like 2008, I believe. And so my dad pretty much was just like working in all those different states. And so thankfully we didn't really have to pay any out of pocket. It was just a job that required a lot of travel and stuff. And
Hmm.
so in 2008, we settled down. He opened up his own business, and we've been here like literally ever since. So, but it's been joyful.
That's awesome. So, what got you interested in, the world of finance? Have you always been like kind of financially savvy, or have you just been like, hey, I don't want to work the rest of my life. I want to enjoy. I want to work hard for 40 years, and then after that, take a nice deep breath and enjoy the sights.
Um, I guess I can say I've somewhat always been financial savvy
Hmm.
because I remember selling gumballs to like kids for like 25 cents a pop. I don't
Oh,
know how it worked, but I guess like kids, we really are gullible. And so I like vividly remember my mom is at Sam's Club, and then just like I think it was like a box of 150 like bubble gums that you see in like
yeah.
the little vending machines and stuff for
Hmm.
like a quarter. And so literally I just sold all of that for like 25 cents a pop. And then I would throw kids a deal like, hey, you can get like three for 80 cents. knowing, knowing that's like, knowing that's not a deal at all. so, and so that like, that was my very first experience of like, oh, wow, I make money and like, I can keep the money. And so I've kind of always had like a sense of money management and just like a personality and approach for money. And then also helps my parents have always instilled early on just that money aspect of everything. Like my parents were very realist. Like they're like everything isn't sunshine, rainbows. Like you
Hmm.
have to work for this if you want it. And so literally everything I think in my life I had to work for. My very first car, I literally worked all summer long, 5 a.m. to like 10 p.m. with my dad, doing decorative flooring for warehouses, Walmarts, and stuff. And so,
Wow.
like literally everything I've worked for, from like sports to like education. So that's pretty much the base of like how I am as like a person.
That's awesome. What was your first car? Because that's like, especially if they paid for your own first car. I mean, you don't hear about that too often.
Yeah. So it was a Chevy Cruze 2014. So
Oh.
what I did was I put up almost like 75% of it,
Mm.
and then my dad was like, "Oh, I'll give you, like just a few thousand on top," because I didn't want to pay it off all the time. I wanted to build my credit history or some
Oh,
type of history.
yeah.
And so I only accepted like a few bucks from my dad, and then I think what during COVID I used all of the COVID checks just to pay the rest of the car off. And then I went car free after that, like no payment for like about 2 years. And I was like, oh wow, this is really like nice not to have any payments monthly. And it was only like 120 bucks a month. And so, but it just still felt great not to just like not pay. And then you finally just like own it, all of you and stuff. And so, and then, but unfortunately, like literally like years later, somebody stole it. So
Yeah, of
yeah,
course.
yeah. And so I was like, that's crazy. Yeah, and so I had to buy a car literally like 2 days later.
Oh
And
my
then thank
gosh.
God, yeah, I had a decent savings and everything, so I just did the same approach. But my dad didn't help me out with that one because I didn't really need any handouts or anything. So then, yeah, that's pretty much it behind the car story. So
Well, so when your car gets stolen, like, do you get anything back from like insurance at all? Like, because of the.
yeah, so apparently, like, I guess it was bad luck because I was under my dad's insurance at the time, and
Uh
I
huh.
guess he missed 1 month with State Farm, and they let it lapse, and then they said we can't cover this, and so my whole car after that was out of pocket. Like I didn't get a dime back.
So because you missed one payment out of years and years, let's say, of paying it on time, doing everything.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's crazy. It
Oh
was
man,
no
that
grace
oh that
around
just
me.
like hurts right there in like the heart, man. Ooh.
Yeah, and I was like, I came back from college too. Like it was probably like a year or two maybe afterwards, and I had like a healthy like savings. Like I had like roughly like 25 like K saved up, and I was like really working hard to like try to like get out of my parents' apartment, and that just went down the drain. And I was like, man, this is like tough. And so like I was like, I'm stuck now. And so fast forward, I never really recovered until I went back to school for like PTA, which was like a year and some change ago. And then now my savings account is back healthy.
Okay,
So
good.
yeah, so now here I am back to the original like place I was at in 20 like 21, 22 or whatever. So now it's kind of like full circle. So now I'm hoping to like really just like pass that and then just keep on trying to save up for a house and then at the same time invest in my taxable so I can use some of that dividends. And then that's really it. Honestly, that's my plan. Save up for a house, hoping I don't have to, just use all of my savings. I kind of want to use my taxable as well and all of that fun stuff. And so that's why I'm kind of at trying to use both aspects. So I'm
Yeah.
hoping to get that going a
No,
little bit.
and that's responsible too when you're trying to build up a healthy account, especially when you are looking to a house. I know there's a lot of different discussions. You do like a 15-year, a 30-year.
Uh, yeah, I'm just like, oh my God. When I see that, I'm like, what is going on? Like a 15-year or 30-year fixed loan or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, I was like, oh, when I get there, I'll worry about it. Right now, I'm just gonna worry about saving up as much as I can aggressively, and then whenever I get there, I'll get there.
Well, and hopefully by then, hopefully the interest rates will go down because I know they're still
Yeah,
hovering between what 6 to 7. I don't know in your
yeah,
state, but what are they still around 6 to 7%?
yeah. Like 6 to 8 in Colorado. Colorado housing is not for the weak. Honestly, it's pretty
Uh,
expensive. Um,
if we're talking about 6 to 8%, oof.
and on top of that, all the houses are probably marked up still. It's starting to fall
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of people are selling, and so it's kind of diluting everything out. But still, like some of the pricing isn't worth it. It's like 2 bedroom, like 1 bath and stuff. They're like they want 300K, 350K. I'm like, no. Like you don't have a basement, you don't have 2 bathrooms. Like you have 2 bedroom, and it's about it, man. Like that's not a worth that much.
So you really have to save a lot, like
Yeah,
lot to get a decent house. I guess you're looking at probably the 600,000 range to get a decent house.
yeah. And
Oh,
that's just like to be like comfortable and not even trying to like be luxury or anything. So,
mm.
but luckily, kind of where I'm living at city wise, they're starting to like build a lot of housing. So houses, townhomes, and stuff, duplexes. And so far the townhomes don't look as bad, or the condos either. And so I think I've seen some condos that are like freshly built, like 150K, but it's
That's
kind
not
of give,
bad.
yeah, it's like give or take depending on who you are, cheap or
Yeah.
not.
Well, word of
So
advice: find out how much the HOA is going to be, though.
I know that's
Take
why I
it
gotta
from
look
someone
out
who used to
too.
live in a condo. HOA.
Yeah, that's how I'm not looking forward to either. I don't want to have like a place for HOA because I hear too many nightmare stories about them. Like, I haven't heard really like a good story about HOAs, honestly.
Well, it's one of those things where they do help with, the grounds and stuff and a lot
Hmm.
of snow removal and the trash. It's more so like how much is the cost, and especially if you're looking at 150K condo, let's
Hmm.
say what 7% interest, so you're looking at a couple grand right there just for the monthly payment plus whatever the HOA is, so it can get kind of pricey. That's the one thing that's really hard about finding a house and everything. It's just everything that goes involved in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You get there, man. You get there.
Yeah.
You guy.
Yeah. So that's my plan for now for the next, I don't know how many years or whatever. It's just to figure out that.
Yeah. So how's your journey on X Men? I mean, I know you're just like really honestly rocking it out with like having a Roth, having that brokerage, and even asking a lot of questions about like different like breakdowns of like what's like your best financial guidance. So kind of walk us through your journey of what it's like to own both a brokerage and a Roth. Because when you find out what you can do and buy those fractional shares, your whole world opens up.
Yeah. So for me, the Roth I love too, because obviously like it's tax sheltered. Like it's just gonna grow without any penalties unless you take out some money. But at least the first 10K is tax free towards a house, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me and my Roth, I have that like pure growth. So like Fidelity 500 that tracks the S&P 500 as well. That's in my Roth, along with FTech, which is pretty much equivalent to QQQ,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just Fidelity's version of that. And then I believe I have um, SCHD, which is just a large growth cap fund, and I have one more, FDVV as well. So it's a little more of a dividend play, but not purely dividend. So they have a good balance of growth and dividend, but probably a little more on the growth side.
Okay.
And so those are my core over there, and I'm just gonna let those rock out until I'm ready to retire. But my taxable is the opposite approach, so it's very income driven,
Mm-hmm.
but with a little bit of growth appreciation as well. So everybody kind of hates on like the high yield type of deal, but if you find a good high yield that doesn't promise, like 40-30% of like, yield, to me,
Mm-hmm.
I think like 8 to 12, you're fine. You won't see any NAV erosion. So like I think one of them I have is JP Morgan's. Theirs that follows the NASDAQ is my favorite probably. Probably people get tired of me just like talking about it all the time, but I truly think it's like one of the solid high income funds out there. Now everybody is finding out each other's blueprint, and then now they're just like
Copy and
improving it
pasting.
step. Yep,
Yeah.
and it's because Goldman Sachs is doing the same thing. Goldman Sachs is another good one that gives you that really good returns plus that dividend play. But
Yeah. Well, especially with JP Morgan, I mean, you get what is it now, like 48, depending which one you're doing, like about what 39 to 48 cents, and you get per share per month.
yeah, right now it's been at like 50s.
Yeah.
So they've been rocking and rolling thanks to like the validity of the market. And so like that's why I love the market going up and down so much. Because like funds like JP Morgan's, they thrive in that up and
Mm-hmm.
down, up and down. And so I don't really care if it's red or green. So as long as it's a good swing in between, I'm good. I'll take it.
So that's actually a really interesting concept you just mentioned, that you don't care if it's red or green, because I know when it's green, people are like, "All right, look at that." But as soon as it turns red, people are like, "Oh no, it's gonna be the end of the world. I don't know what's gonna
Mm,
happen." And they could
yeah.
be like down, like let's just say, again, I'm exaggerating just a little bit, but let's say like your account's like down like $5. So how do you handle like that emotion of like, oh no, like what's gonna happen? To like more that Warren Buffett approach, which is like, well, I bought it at a discount.
For me, when I first started investing, that got me good. Like honestly, I was like, "Oh my god, this is crazy!" Like, is it gonna be down like this the whole entire time I own it? Will it go up? And so like when I first started investing, my initial positions were all red, and I was like nobody like warned me about this side. But then like also I wasn't on Twitter then. I wasn't around anybody that was investing like
Hmm.
how I was going to now today. And so I had to learn all this and just go with the bumps and bruises. And so seeing those reds back then, and it was only like down like point like 30. That's it. So it wasn't even
Right.
like 1%, 2%, 5 or anything. And so and the next day it'll be like either flat or it'll be green. I'm like, oh, okay. So like hold on. Let me let me wait and see how this goes next month. And then a month rolls into two and then three and then six, whatever, and it keeps compounding over. And then now, as I've gotten more comfortable with investing, now I'm like, oh, cool, red day. I'll throw in a little 50 ball and then call it a day. And then let's see how it goes. And so let's just average my cost down. Now is my mind now. And so when compared to now, when we had the bearish market
Right.
or whatever with the heavy tariff stuff.
Yeah. Back
I
like in like
think
April.
yeah, I used my tax return and I just like threw it at the wall. I was like, here you go. I just threw all that tax return in there, and then now I'm seeing the fruits of the labor of doing that now, because I think my position I was at like 55,
Hmm.
and so because I was only like green before all the tariff stuff, and so
Right.
there I lowered it down to like $52. So now my total return is up by like just like 1 or 2% or something like that. And so now I'm just working on just investing just whenever. So it doesn't matter if the market's red or green, preferably red, but can't take it all. And so I like that little discount that I get on the red days. But that's pretty much kind of my mindset is just it's okay. Take a breath. Like it's not gonna be forever green every day. If it's green every day, then there's something wrong as well. And then if it's red every day, then there's definitely something wrong as well. And so it's two ends of the spectrum. And so for me, it's just take a deep breath, breathe. It's okay. If the fund or if the stock or ETF has good fundamentals and you understand the methodology, you're good. If you don't understand what you're investing in, that's when you start getting in trouble, and that's when you start to sell out. Like the next day later, and then you can do you can get all into like the nuances, like you can do the wash, whatever, or you can get penalized for the gains, short-term
Hmm.
gains, which you don't want to do because that's kind of a tax nightmare at the end of the year, is what people don't have in mind. And so with me, I try to hold for at least a year, at least a
Yeah.
minimum of a year if I want to change out, just to avoid that short-term tax gain or anything like that. And so I think now we see with all these great funds that's promising like income and this crazy growth, people are chasing a lot. And so when they're chasing a lot, they're not being mindful of, oh, I just sold out of this position that I got into 2 months ago and I'm up 10% total return. And now that tax form hits next year, and now you're like, what is this? And so now you can't go to the Jackson Hewitts of the world. Now you actually have to go get an actual CPA, which
Hmm.
is not cheap either.
Hmm.
And so now you have to get him to backlog all of this stuff that you did just because you were chasing. So it just, to me, adds on a lot of that information and then a lot of unnecessary risk just because you're chasing something. For me, if it's solid and its history has been 8% return, I'm cool with going 8% for the next years and so on. I don't need 20%. I don't need 30% return in a year. That's just not realistic in my opinion.
I was gonna say you definitely don't sound like a day trader.
I'm not. I'm not strong for that yet. No, not yet. But yeah, that's just kind of like how I am with investing. So I don't really care to chase, returns. If the returns is solid off of the track record, I'm okay with
Hmm.
them doing that forward. Like 8% is still solid. I
Okay.
think now everybody is distracted by everything returning like 15, 20%. Now everybody's used to seeing these high double digit returns versus how it used to be traditionally. Like way before I invested, like 8% was like, oh man, you're doing that's great. And now,
Yeah.
like 8% is like, what's the point of doing 8% when you can come over here to this ticker and get 20% by the end of the year? But like, it doesn't work out like that in my opinion. Like, if you switch over 3 months into that whatever fund or ETF versus somebody that's actually held it for the year, you're not seeing the same 20%. You're going to see less than that. And so that's why I'm not a fan of people saying, why don't you just do this? Well, I'm not going to get the same return as John did because he held it for a true year. And so now he'll actually see that 20% gain. Versus me, I might see 12, 13 or something like that on the year because I got
Good.
into and which is still good.
Good. Yeah.
And so, but that's just getting into that whole thing of, I'm chasing the returns. And then now somebody else is like, just do this. And then now you're listening to this continuum of just like, here, do this better return. Then now, better return. And so, like, that's why I kind of don't want to get in that rabbit hole. And that's why I'm holding out with JP Morgan's
Hmm.
ETF because they're still like, I think their over lifetime, they're like 17%. And then by a year, they're like 10, 11%, which is really good for an
Yeah.
income
I mean, that's
ETF
average
type of.
about the market year by year, about 10%, 8 to 10% annual return. Some
Yeah,
years are going to be higher, some are going to be lower, and it just all averages out.
yeah. So I'll take it as an income fund. I'll take that all day. So I'm cool with that. Give me some coin back, and then you grow and appreciate.
Hey,
I'm
maybe
all cool.
do one of those share payouts and do that 3 to 1 like Schmidt did
Man, like,
months back.
that's simple. Like you can make it as simple as you want or as complex as you want, but I prefer simple and
Yeah.
just keep my life stress free because I'm not gonna keep on studying all these charts for hours and hours and trying to figure out the golden cross and all this stuff. So like I'm okay for now. If I have some time on my hands, I'll maybe start to look at trading a little bit, but I do want to dive into some options and stuff like that just to
Okay.
boost my income on top of what I'm doing now. And so whenever I get more stable, I'll look at some incomes. I mean, not
I,
incomes, some options.
I was gonna say I see a lot of people more on doing options now, so I guess that's the latest trend now is instead of like what using Schmidt, are you doing Boo, like what options are you doing? It's been the most common what I've seen on X kind of switch over. So
Mm,
leading to that kind of conversation, like what are some people as you were since you said you weren't on X when you started your investment journey, who do you still kind of follow because you're still kind of listening to someone's perspective? So how do you take someone you follow and admire and kind of make you like your own little twist?
um, me, I was still kind of like really like just a lone wolf on this whole entire journey until I got deeply in X. And so, but my mentor, Sam, he invested like heavily, I guess, in like I forgot the name of the fund, but it's a pretty good fund. It's like American something fund. But he
Okay.
said he threw his last 10K in there and he didn't see it for like 10, 15 years or something like that. And then he looked at it one day and he said, oh. And so that kind of like inspired a conversation because I was like, hey, like I just popped the question because like he lives in a really like luxury house, like
Hmm.
I think like 5 rooms or something like that, a little mini theater, a backyard like a master pit, little
Oh,
backyard basketball court, and then downhill is like a volleyball net, swimming
oh,
pool, and his
dang,
like,
living the
and his
life.
house. He has like, yeah, he has a house, not a house, office in the backyard too, and a bar downstairs. And so I'm like, I'm just looking around. I'm like, man, this is like nice. Like I don't want all of that, but like just to be comfortable just like that and not worry about anything. I could travel. I'm like, I can go to work whenever I want. And so I was like, how, like, I didn't want to be like an intrusion, like on his, like, his personal life and stuff. But like, the curiosity got the best of me. I was like, how'd you get this? Like, how'd you get this? Like, this is cool. And it's like a small community. They have like a polo field in their whole community. I'm like, this is like crazy. And I couldn't fathom, like, I really couldn't wrap my head around like how somebody could get here just by
Right.
working a regular job. And so, and I was like, this is crazy. And so he was like, this is what I did. Like I invested, I reduced my debt. I have a wife, or I met my girlfriend at the time, and we talked about a plan. Her father is the one that helped me out. and got me started on the right pathway of success. Because he grew up very dirt poor. Like he said,
Mm.
he was in a 1 bedroom apartment with like a bunch of brothers, like 4 brothers, I think.
Oh wow.
And so, and then now look at him now. He's just like completely luxury. He has a home here, and then he has a home in San Diego, and then Florida just for vacations. And
Wow,
so
just
I'm like,
have a big house in Florida.
yeah,
Because
like he
Florida's
only
housing
goes there.
market's expensive too.
Yeah, so he goes there just for vacation. So I'm like, man, this is like pretty cool, man. So like he gave me game a little bit and was like, what you need to do is look at some of these and then just try to invest. And then that's really it. And then he didn't really give me like, an exact blueprint. He just put the seed in my head to like, you probably just need to do something different. And so he's never really told me what to do. He's always been like, I'm like, hey Sam, like, what do you think about this? Like, what if I do this way? What do you think? He's like, oh, that's a good idea. I think you'll be successful with this, but you might want to tweak this a little bit. And just doing stuff like that is what he's done. And he's always just kind of been like a confirmer for me because like I don't know what I'm doing. I'm fresh. This is like my first time like doing all this, so like I don't have any past experience and stuff. And
Right.
so for him, he's just that person that's always that I confided in and always just like was seeking like confirmation because he's gotten to where he's at successfully. And so like that's what I want to try to trace. So I want to see if I'm on the correct path or not. And so he's always confirmed like, yeah, that's not a bad idea. Like that's pretty good. And then he's always told me like I have good traits, and so like hardworking, always thinking about the future and
Mhm.
planning, and I have discipline. And then he will always say like basketball is always giving me an advantage over the average person that has not played sports at a high level. And so that's just being competitive, disciplined, and knowing what it feels like to grind every single day in and day out, under any circumstance. And so he's just kind of instilled all of that for me.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's not the first time really meeting, but I can definitely hear that, especially since you went out and weren't expecting someone just to give you a car. You earned that car, right? You're working like
Mhm.
you said, early in the morning to late at night and busting your tail.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, I don't know too many people who really had like, when you got your car stolen, unfortunately, but had 25K saved up, especially during that time, during the COVID time between 2020 and 2022, where car prices were like way overpriced.
Crazy.
Like a used car would be like 20, 30 grand with, let's say, hundreds, let's say with 30, 40,000 miles on it,
Yeah.
especially with that chip shortage that was happening too. So there's a lot of and the factors that were happening that car prices were just like,
Yep. Yeah. Oh, I don't miss those times, man. Oh my God. No, I don't miss those times.
I don't
But
think
yeah.
anyone does, especially with how inflated everything was and trying to, make ends meet and everything. So, but that just like, especially, how far did you go playing basketball? Like, just play at college?
Uh, yeah. So I went high D2,
Oh,
and
nice.
then, and so that's the furthest I went. I had like ambitions of trying to go overseas, but I got a taste of like reality of how you needed to kind of like be a brown nose, and you have to know this person, and this person has to know this person. So I've never fit the mode of like trying to like get to know everybody and try to play like the friend game. And so that kind of hurt me a
Hmm.
little bit and then also helped me at the same time. Because with basketball, like I had to force my way into groups just by purely alone. I feel like hard work and talent versus like another kid got exposure through other means of just knowing somebody. And so now it's just
Hmm.
like, hey, go look over there. And then go look at this kid and see if you like it. And the only thing they had to do was be decent enough to keep the attention. And so versus like somebody else that didn't have anybody on their corner like that, hard work, and then eventually you'll get seen. And so that's pretty much my life. My life theme is just like working hard and then just making your own way. Honestly, so
Well, I mean, that's the honest way to live. It's just, yes, you have to know people. Yes, there's certain things that you might have to do, but at the end of the day, if it's gonna sacrifice your values, why do it?
yeah, That's true.
And again, your upbringing and everything that you're telling me, man, you're like, my values are way more important. I'd rather earn it, work hard versus, and then maybe
Mhm.
know somebody
Yeah,
in that kind
it
of order.
feels better, honestly, overall too.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
like working hard for it, and you just feel like your own self motivator. And then now you got your own self confidence, and then your own self confirmation too. And then
Mm-hmm.
now you know what it feels like to work hard. And then now you see that hard work pay off. And so now it just keeps going and going. And then now you're just like this driven, motivated person that just wants to just keep going and going and going. That's really good. And so it's just the way it is. So I don't regret anything in my life, honestly. Like, I wouldn't redo anything. I wouldn't change anything. Like, I feel like people say that and they don't really think of the ramifications going into the future. Like, if you change something
Mm-hmm.
in your past, you might be better off in the future or you might be worse. And so you really don't know. You have to look at both ends. Only people look at the positive instead of the negative. Like honestly, if I would have changed something in my life in the past, I might not be on this podcast today, or I might have never connected with you on Twitter or anything. And so
Right.
like you have to look at
You'd be
these all
overseas.
yeah, like you never really truly know where you're gonna be at. And so I don't really like that type of, outlook or that mindset of, oh, I'd rather change this in my past so I could go this lane just temporarily. Like they're all just temporary patches. So you never know. You might change something. You might be in the same spot literally
That's
years
true.
later. So like you really truly don't know. You're just going off of hindsight, which is always 2020, as they say.
You know that, or living that daydream life that, man, if I would have changed this one thing about my life, would have all
Mhm.
been better.
Yep.
And life is a series of decisions. It's like whenever people talk about how they wish they can go back in time.
Hmm.
Have you ever seen the movie The Butterfly Effect with like Ashton Kutcher?
I did not. Oh.
So it's an older movie, like in the early 2000s, where he was basically at the top of his game, basically like in every single movie.
Hmm.
And so the whole premise of somehow he has this ability to kind of go back in time and change things. And more of the story is he keeps trying to change things and it never goes out. So, there's situations where he got hurt. There's
Hmm.
situations where he lost a lot of people. And so he had to make a big decision not to interact with this one person that
Hmm.
led up to him being okay at the end. But it was always trying to go back, always trying to go back and fix that
Yeah.
one key point in time. And unfortunately, we don't know how things work out. And life is unpredictable. We don't know how life is going to happen, how it's going to be, and
Yeah.
we just have to just try to live in the present. One of my favorite people to always kind of quote is Lao Tzu, who says, "If we live in the past, we're depressed. If we live in the future, we're anxious. So the
Hmm.
best way to live is in the present where we're at peace." So it's chasing that peace versus that happiness.
Yeah. It's also keep you in reality. Kind of keeps you in check a little bit too, honestly, at the end of the
You got
day.
that right. And that's how you've been talking about, right? Take a breath, be mindful, be aware, just invest. Don't worry about all these numbers and how this is going up and down
Yep.
because we know the market. We've both been investing for a few years. So we know the market's going to be up, it's going to be down. There might be a few days where it's down, down, then it bounces back up. It's basically a classic yo yo.
Pretty much. Yeah. You just gotta live day by day. And so that's something I've been trying to work on too. Is just stop looking at the future and
Mm.
just let my plans just be. Because I spent a lot of time planning out everything, trying to cover up the nuances of everything. What if this goes wrong? What if this goes right? And so I've been trying to get away from that and just like, look, man, just let your plan be. Like, go take your girlfriend out for some Thai food or something. Like just go do something. It's fun. Enjoy the moment. Like spending $30 to go to the movies today is not gonna blow up your whole retirement plan when you're 60 years old. You'll probably make that times five, times 10 over anyway, maybe. And so there's no point in just like, oh, I have to save all of this money now just for later. And so I'm just trying to have that mindset of now, just enjoy what you can. And then also, I don't want to be 60 traveling the world. I'm not going to be as mobile. That doesn't sound fun to me just being 65, trying to travel all over the place, like I'm not gonna be as limber, as mobile. Versus like now, I'm like 27, and then I'm gonna be like 40. Then I'll rather travel in like those ages rather than trying to be, you know, 60, 65. I'd rather be 27 to like 50 and trying to explore, trying to get all these experiences on my belt. At least I can actually fully be there in the moment, mentally
Mhm.
and physically and spiritually too.
Mhm. Well said, John. And the best way to do that is just like how your mentor's doing it, right? Not
Hmm.
necessarily telling you here's a blueprint, go copy and paste what I do, but what do you think about it? I mean, you're an intelligent guy, so
Yeah,
you got
yeah,
a
that's
good head
fun.
on your
Yeah,
shoulders, so you can kind of figure things out, especially for being 27 and young and still trying to work things out, make mistakes. And it's like, man, was that a good deal? Okay, well, maybe yes, maybe no. We'll find out in a year. Versus, I just bought the stock and now it's down. Oh, gotta sell it.
yeah. Oof.
And I
Yeah.
think we've all done that from time to time. Like, oh man, why did I buy this stock and why did I do this? And it's just one of those growing pains that we always have to go through. And
Hmm.
especially we can like look up to someone and recognize that your mentor probably got the way he is because his girlfriend's now wife, father taught him a thing or two.
Yep.
So it's all about passing that on, helping each other. This is what the whole podcast is about: is taking the wisdom and everything you've learned and passing it on to somebody who's listening to his podcast, who's like, "Oh man, I never heard of this Elijah guy. Oh, I gotta go. He's on X. Oh man, I gotta go check him out. Oh man, I'm 35. I don't have a rock. Hey, I should get a rock. Hey, Elijah, help me out here, man."
Yeah, it's honestly cool to see like me getting DMs too about that because there are a few people that are like scared to invest, and then I
Mm-hmm.
got a few of them to get over that. And so I think that's like really cool just to get those DMs, and then like 3 months later, you just get a random DM like, bro, like I just did this, and like look, and I'm like, that's so good, man. Just keep going and going. And so that reminds me, I got to check on a few people actually after this, so I got to shoot them a DM and figure out and see how they're doing. And so, but stuff like that I really appreciate because it goes a long way. Like it's just stuff you just appreciate and just hold close to your heart because like you just did it just because you wanted to do it, not because you wanted something back. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's just seeing them being successful or just like, hey, I really want to thank you for like getting me started on investing. I've been struggling for years with no correct pathway to get started. And so just getting those messages is always just cool. Just like, hey, what do you think of this like stock or ETF? And so to me, that's very rewarding that people will like trust your opinion or hold your opinion of value to where they're like trusting you. And of course, like not financial advice, but
Right.
and so it's just always cool just to see that people like respect your opinion just because of what you're doing right now and then what you're displaying. And so that's why to me transparency is absolutely key to like everything, whether if I'm eating out or if I'm investing or if I'm going to the movies, like I want people to see like the true moment or just see like what it is instead of just always posting the green, the positive, or just the neutral opinion. Like, and I think me being this transparent and just open, not too many people on X are really this like transparent how I am, I think. And I think that what separates me from others is like this is me. Like you're gonna get me. Like I'm not gonna just pretend like I'm a hot shot and only post, the good and then you won't see the bad. And so I think a lot of people that I've connected with on X, they respect me showing the bad and then the good, and then also being truthful with my holdings that I have too as well. And so I'm not gonna boast about every last holding that I have that it's the next best thing on earth. And so I usually tell people when they tell me like, "Hey, would you recommend JP Morgan's?" And I'm like, "I'm not sure. Like, are you okay with, being taxed as ordinary? Are you okay with seeing that tax form with you being taxed at 15% compared to if you go to Goldman Sachs, you get return of capital and at that is going to be taxed as long term. And so, like, which one are you okay with? Do you want return of capital or do you not want return of capital?"
Mm.
And so I usually try to educate people on both sides. And I usually give the less riskier suggestions, like the JP Morgans, I'll keep to myself. And I'll give people like, Neo, since they're pretty tax efficient. So I'll give people tax efficient holdings all day unless they want something different or unless they're okay with the risk of JP Morgan's, ETFs.
Right. Wow, you really do your homework, and I really like how you put in someone else's ball core of like what they're going to do, and
Yeah.
give them different perspectives to think about. That it may not be always in a lot of. I've only read a few financial books, so that might be in some different books, since they just kind of tend to talk about here's what an ETF is. Here's a stock. Here's does it give a dividend? What's its expense ratio? How much are you going to pay per thousand?
Mm-hmm.
And and because a lot of questions are like, how does that work? Do I have to
Yep.
literally give them a check, and we all know it's all relatively built into the system.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I usually just try to break that down, like expense ratio too. Like I try to just like break it all down for them. Like here, man, like JP Morgan, their expense ratio is like 0.35.
Yeah,
And then Goldman Sachs, I don't know off the top of my head what their expense ratio
I
is.
have no idea.
Theirs might be lower, so I have to double check on them. But I usually try to give them both sides of the coin. Like here, man, like I'll give you the information, and then I'll let you do with what you want. And then if you're comfortable with one or the other, then go for it. But if you're not comfortable with this type of style, then I don't recommend it for you. Then you need to find something that you're comfortable with because the income ETFs are risky. Like
Yeah,
everything is risky in life, but the income ETFs are a little bit more risky because of the variance and the payouts. So if you're looking for stability, probably income ETFs aren't for you. If you want some money, income ETFs are for you, but you have to be able to stomach getting paid 35 cents last month. And then now next month you get paid 70 cents a share. So you have to be okay with a crazy swing or just that decrease in pay. So you have to be okay with either or.
yeah, because that company needs to pay its employees and all the expenses.
Yeah, they got to pay themselves eventually.
Yeah,
Oh,
and that's just what they do. I mean, they gotta survive, and so I think just developing that strength is what's going to be key to keep you going, not worrying about does the sun change by 10 or by 2, or does it
mm-hmm.
go up by 5 or 20? Because sometimes, like, especially I know a lot with like Fidelity, they'll give you like an estimated earning per share. So it's like, oh man, you got to even like tear yourself down to that. Because sometimes you're like, wait a second, they're projecting like an 80 cent per share, but then like you actually get it, and it's still that 51 cent, and you're like, wait, what happened?
Yep, and then you got to get ready for that tank because everybody's going to sell off because they had the same thought, but they
That's
put that thought into action, and so now you're like, man, but this is like actually a good company, so their fundamentals are solid. So like, I don't know why everybody's panic selling, and so that's like your time to double down on your conviction
mm-hmm.
to buy more shares. If you really feel strongly long term about it, then this is just a little dot on the graph or a little blimp or whatever.
And
And
you just
so,
said a key word, long term. Got to have that long term thinking, not that
mm,
short term, quick get rich kind of stuff. Which is I always refer that to people who want to get rich. Which again, if that's what your goal is, and that's where you want to be aligned, you do you, of course.
yeah.
But I mean, day tradings. I mean, that's that short term's that day trading meaning. That investors that long term. Like, okay, I know
Mm,
I might only have, like you said earlier, I might only have $50. So I'm going to give them $50 and maybe buy, let's say, half a share.
mm,
And but again, as we know, if you get 50 cents, you get a little bit more, and you get a little bit more fractionals, it'll add up to from a penny to almost a dollar. It might take you a year, 2, maybe 3 years of being consistent, and it
yep.
will get there. So, Elijah, as we kind of wrap up today, if you guys made it this far, just want to say thank you for watching this and just taking time to like listen to Elijah talk about his financial journey and how much he's gone and grown. And right now, Elijah's going to share with all of us a word of encouragement, maybe a statement, a sentence, a word of what he would like to give to you, so that way you can be more confident and maybe being financially mature, maybe financially literate, maybe learning how to really handle life. So, Elijah, hit it, man. What do you want to give the audience today?
So pretty much what I would say is block out the noise, the typical phrase, block out the noise. That's what I've done. A lot of people have talked down on me being 26, 27, worrying about dividends or income, but here I am getting almost like $80 a month from JP Morgan. So why not just keep doing that? If you know your plan and you know where you want your future to look like and you develop that plan thoroughly, keep up with your own plan. Because once again, if you do your research on whatever you're investing in, you feel strongly about how they are managing their whole portfolio or whatever, just keep it up. Just trust yourself and then just have that positive mindset long term. It's going to be some bumps and bruises, but if you trust your plan and you trust yourself and you trust the product that you're investing in, it will be a-okay. You'll look back on this day 5 years from now and be like, oh man, I was sweating over nothing. And so just have that confidence in yourself. It's okay to listen to others' opinions, but it should not determine your outlook on your investment style that you have planned for yourself. And remember, everybody is not living like you. You are living your own life. And at the end of the day, you sit in your car or in your room by yourself. They're not going to be there telling you what to do at the end of the day. So you have to take accountability and credibility for your own actions too. And don't worry about anybody else.
Elijah, I just want to say thank you for coming on to your first podcast. And no way this is your first podcast because you just rocked that off. If you think Elijah just knocked it off the park, hit that like button, hit that share button, subscribe to the Mens Lifeline Academy podcast. But first, Elijah's a guest, so you gotta go check him out first before you subscribe to this. So that way you can go support our guest. And all his socials on X will be in the description below. So go check him out. Go support him on his journey because guess what? I'm sure he's going to hit over 3K teammates on X, but he's right now at 2.9. So let's give him some support so that way he can knock that part out of his journey. And that way he can have one more milestone to look upwards. Just like dividends, just like stocks, goes up, it goes down. And so you got to take that risk. And we also have the Men's Lifeline Academy, which is a paid subscription. It's a community of brothers that meets Mondays at 7 p.m. EST to help support you as you grow in your journey. So check that out. And I hope you all have a blessed day. And thank you for being here. Elijah, thank you, my brother.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.